like your credits went through just fine. Fantastic. Now, where was I? Right. You were asking about the mercs, Nox Solaris. Well, friend, you have come to the right man. Been their humble street pharmacist since just after they got together. Some of my best clients, by the way. But more importantly for you, they're the best there is at what they do. I mean, what a group. Leader's a bona fide Atlantean voyager. That's right, Atlantean. Then there's the spooky techno-wizard cyborg genius. Finally, a mystic smithy giant. 12 feet tall if he's an inch. Not to mention the mountain of a spirit bear he calls brother. Now, I can get word to him if you're looking to hire Mister. No problem there. Just let old Blitz give you 2 tiny tips for your health. First, don't get on their bad side. Make sure you have payment ready to go, and don't try to pull any bullshit, or you're worse than dead. And second, don't piss off that fucking bear.
Finally, there you are. The Nexus had just enough power to fuel one more try. The last step. The Megaverse knows my Atlantean people as heroes, but a shadow of chaos has taken root in me. They try to bind it. They try to bury it. But when I finally called out to it, to you, from across the void, you answered, I am ready.
Welcome, traveler, to the Black Shore.
Your shame reaches a mother's heart, even beyond the veil, little brother. My sister saw and mocked her as the darkness closed in. She giggled and synthesized honey-sweet tones while leaning close to softly breathe her venom into my ear. And so, with judgment passed and tourniquets in place, my family commanded the automated surgical bots to neatly slice both arms and legs from my torso. The harsh lights overhead swam and dimmed before my eyes, as flesh and bone were replaced with cold, unfeeling metal to cripple my connection to the arcane. Now, my family lies far behind my path, and I follow a new teacher as she whispers from the darkness ahead. Her voice haunts me with promises of forbidden knowledge and wonders precious beyond compare. Each step brings me closer to my prize, closer to my revenge, closer to her.
Nah, brother. My eyes read the stars as keenly as your ancient ones do. It is almost here. E is almost home. And with him comes the end for our proud and noble Vana countryman, along with the rest of the souls on this world. As his foul shadow falls upon us all, we alone stand for those who cannot. So rise, son of Aku. Our ancestors smile upon us this night as they call us home. Come and let us earn our place amongst the stars above.
All right, welcome to the Prism of KeterFall campaign. We are picking up with our characters Akama, Ren, and Ymir as they explore the city of the wandering aristocrats. As we pick up with their exploits, we find that they're getting a little bit of much-needed respite from the long and arduous journey before them to establish themselves as interdimensional mercs. They're looking to join up with a larger group and perhaps one day have a mercenary company of their own. But for now, as they explore these strange new lands, each of them are brought together by the unifying concept of needing to explore outside of the known and the familiar in their lives to seek answers and greater truths out amongst the population in this strange and warped landscape of Rift's Earth. Now, within the Wandering Aristocrat, they have come to find themselves now in the entertainment district, which seems to cater almost exclusively to the more illicit and kind of darker side of city nightlife. Let me see here. Okay. They have come to this district, each in search of either some recreation, some entertainment, or perhaps even some magical knowledge. Now, with that, we're going to go ahead and pick the story back up with our Atlantean voyager, Akama. He is sitting across from the blacksmith that the group has met here in the Aristocrat, named Lars. Lars is enamored and enchanted by the dancing, seemingly Atlantean entertainer known as Seraph. She is dancing in front of a large kind of community bonfire in the center of a huge square that is set aside for events just like this. And as Seraph's assistants are kind of picking through the crowd, collecting donations for her entertainment that she's providing. Akama has realized through his magical senses that she is a fellow Atlantean who is using some kind of unknown tattoo magic spell casting to basically enchant the crowd around her. And as he's realized this, it's made him aware that whatever this kind of magic she wields is, it's cut from a wholly different cloth than his tattoo magic, the traditional Atlantean magical practice. So in this moment, as Lars is drooling over Seraph's dancing and prancing about, the music, the beat is kind of building to a crescendo, and you see that the entire crowd is starting to kind of build up into a fervor. As this is happening, Akama, you glance over across the crowd, and something instantly just kind of puts you on defense. Something definitely is making you feel like there's a threat around you. Now, I'd like you to go ahead and roll a perception check, if you would.
It starts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Holy
let's
shit.
Let's
Nice.
fucking go.
Blew
Bro, I
the
drank
roof
coffee
off
this
of it.
morning.
I did coffee this morning.
All right, as you start peering around trying to find the source of whatever's got the hairs on the back of your neck standing up, you instantly lock your gaze onto an individual sitting by himself at a table, kind of further off away from the main group of tables. It's sort of on the perimeter of the area that's being heavily occupied by the crowd right now. And as the image of this individual comes into focus between different silhouettes of dancing and writhing bodies in the firelight, you see that this individual is staring directly at you and appears to be gripping his beverage, his drink, very tightly, and seems to almost be grinding his teeth. Now, as he's watching you, you see him notice you look at him, and instantly he just kind of nods very slightly and begins to take another sip of his drink. Now, this is the individual that when you had activated your mystical sight previously, I don't know if you recall, but you had seen kind of like a negative magical effect surrounding this individual. Do you recall that part? You had activated your mystical tattoo, your magic sight, and when you had seen Seraph casting the energy out, you had seen this guy almost as a dark silhouette where no magic was escaping at all. And it's even more pronounced, like a normal person has a little soft glow like a candle. Okay. Somebody like Seraph was like a lighthouse beacon shining in front of you. This guy was like he was cut out. His silhouette was just cut out of the fabric of reality and it's just jet black. There's no radiation of magical properties coming from him at all. And that really shouldn't even be possible. But as you notice this, he's kind of gazing at you and he just kind of nods slightly and takes a long pull from the beverage that he's sipping on. You also notice he's got a cigarette between the fingers of his right hand, and he follows his drink with a long pull from the cigarette. Just continues staring at you. You would say that this person is 50 feet from you. And kind of, again, off on the side of the action of the dance floor, so to speak.
Okay, so that's not the same individual that was near Ymir. Well, I guess not anymore. The gentleman that was sitting Because I remember I activated my 3 eyes and I peered around the area and I
That's
saw
him. That's
that
him. That
it's
is
the
him.
same
That's the
guy.
same
Yes.
security
Oh,
officer looking. I've said it reminded me of the commandant. Like he's clearly some sort of.
yeah, the big ape-looking dude or whatever, like the guy that was with them.
He wasn't with them. He was
No,
sitting
he was off
off
to the
on the
side.
side. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
just closer to where Ymir had been standing next to those, the gorilla and the people that he was with. That location is kind of closer to where this guy was sitting than you are right now.
Okay, and he's the one with the anti-magic aspect.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I'll stare back at him.
Okay, as you continue staring at him, after a couple of seconds, he sets his drink down, and he actually stands up, takes one last big, long, final pull of his cigarette, and go ahead and snuffs it out on the table. He starts walking towards you very quickly, and as he does so, you notice that he's dressed pretty much in, what would be considered like relatively high tech, kind of casual gear. He doesn't seem to be really decked out with weaponry. He doesn't seem like he's heavily armored, nothing like that. He's wearing a kind of black trench coat, and he does have almost like a fedora hat on. But other than that, you're not really getting any kind of, he doesn't seem to have a bunch of people with him. You're not picking up anything else that's really, throwing threat vibes out there. You would guess that he's going to be over to your table within probably 1 minute, by the time he works his way through the crowd, if he's coming towards you, which it looks like he is. Lars, again, is sitting right in front of you with his back towards this guy coming. And he's looking off to his right where Seraph is still dancing. So Lars doesn't even see this guy.
Lars is also very drunk.
Lars is very drunk. Lars is very drunk.
I'm
And
just ready
very,
for
very Russian.
a Russian fight party that we're gonna start up right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of like move my body forward a little bit on my chair, so kind of like as if I was on the John. Um, at the same time, looking at the gentleman walking toward me, can I tell roughly how tall he is?
You would guess about 5'9".
5'9"?
Yeah, about 5'9".
Okay.
You cut out a little bit, so I think that's why.
Yeah. At the
Oh,
end,
sorry about
It's
that.
all good. No, you're good. You're good. Okay. And then I'm gonna try to get Lars's attention to let him know that we have some company.
Okay. That is a reasonable thing to do.
So disappointed.
We're gonna go like this. Oh boy. Okay. That's a -2. That's a -2. Lars, you yell, "Hey!" after several
He
attempts
does
of
not see me.
no, after several attempts of just surreptitiously getting his attention, you finally actually yell towards him, and even that doesn't break him out of this stupor. And as
I
you're
love it.
looking at him, you're actually watching his face closely. There is whatever. Now, when you were looking at the energy flowing from Seraph into the crowd, you notice that the waves of energy appeared to leave residual kind of traces of that energy signature in each person as the wave expanded away. And you notice that some of the people in the crowd were like almost infused with this energy, like it just stuck to them now and didn't really dissipate. Now he is in that category, and as you're watching him watch Seraph and trying to get his attention, for the first time you notice that his eyes actually have a really soft, almost like a golden kind of glow coming out of them that in the commotion earlier you didn't really notice, or maybe it hadn't manifested yet, but he actually appears to you like he's under a full like enchantment right now. And being as familiar with magic as you are, and its fundamental principles and applications, you recognize this is it's not just a suggestive type of magic, which you had thought before. It pretty much is able to dominate people, and it looks like this is what's happened to him. Go ahead.
All I can picture is like a cartoon, and the guy's crushing on some girl, and he has hearts in his eyes.
Right? The jaw is down on the floor. Yeah, so you do also notice that he's perspiring pretty severely as well, and there's a pretty pronounced red flush to his cheeks and his face. His nose obviously is red from all the alcohol, but he appears to be under physical effects from this as well. And they don't seem like they're calming. They seem like they put the body under some duress. This is all interesting to you because you hadn't really gotten much of specifics when it came to her capabilities with this power.
Besides that, she made the Stuka dance. We knew that. We knew that.
All right. So as you yell out to him a second time, still he's completely unresponsive, and you realize this
No
ain't
worries.
happening. So
No worries. It is what it is.
okay.
All right, so I'm ready. So
All right.
he's
Dude's made it about
way.
15 seconds, about a melee round towards you. Got about 3 of those left before he gets there. You don't pick up any kind of like, he ain't reaching for anything. You feel me? But his presence alone is enough to be pretty off-putting.
Do I sense bloodlust?
Nothing like that.
Cool.
There's something about him, though, and you would guess that it's the fact that he seems to be the antithesis of magic. That property alone is probably what's getting you so, like, putting you on such alert, because it's almost like predator and prey, and in this situation, somebody that can cancel magic, you're kind of like the vulnerable one. So you're getting that feeling of like the rabbit with the wolf staring at it, like getting ready. You know what I mean?
I'm more like the rabbit with a Tommy gun.
There you go. All right, man. So he continues approaching, and as he does so, he gets about another 15 seconds towards you. So he's about halfway into the crowd. And as this is taking place, you notice off to your left that that the huge gorilla with the beret and his contingent of associates have all risen from their seats and set down their drinks, cigars, so forth, and are all walking very determinedly forward in a kind of aggressive posture towards your position. But as they're doing so, they're glancing over at the individual that's walking towards you from the other direction. Okay?
Got you.
So as this is transpiring, you don't notice this guy looking back at them at all, but they're definitely bird dogging him.
Gotcha.
They are
Tango.
right, and they're still about 30 seconds from your position at their current speed as well. So it looks like everybody's going to arrive at your table at about the same time. Okay.
I want to look at Seraph.
Okay.
And
Seraph, yeah.
is she? And I guess she's still dancing. Is she looking at me at all?
Ah, as you look over at her, you notice that she is now dancing pretty much in place without moving around laterally anymore. And as she's doing this, she's basically making sure that her face is turned towards you the whole time. And if she does do a spin, she whips her head around very quickly to make sure that it's facing you as quickly as possible. And the entire time, she just has a very calm, relaxed kind of look on her face. She almost looks like she's watching you like some kind of predatory cat.
Nice.
And as she's watching, at the corner of her lips, you see the faint kind of whisper of a smile. And it appears as though, as she's kind of glancing about here and there, it appears as though she's aware of the individuals closing in on you. You get quick impressions of her eyes kind of darting back and forth between the two groups. And so you would guess that she's just kind of watching this with both interest and a little bit of pleasure. Okay.
How far away is she?
You would say that she is probably... You'd say she's probably about 25 feet away, but there isn't a whole lot. You're kind of at a table that's on the edge of the kind of ring of what would be kind of the dance floor where people are getting out of her way. So your table is relatively close to her, but she has a wide ring around her. And they're both coming, like one's coming almost from behind her towards you, and one's coming from, off on her, what would be her left and your right towards you. That's the individual guy. So with all that being said, she does continue dancing, though, and kind of working the crowd up into a frenzy. And that's something you're aware of, too. As you're paying close attention to the situation, you realize that the tempo of the performance is increasing, and the whole thing is starting to pick up energy. All right. With that, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna get up and start walking toward her.
Okay. You stand up and you start walking across the intervening, roughly 25 feet. It's pretty much...
But I want to be dancing, though, like, kind of like...
Oh, you want to start dancing?
Not like crazy, but like getting like the beat
not crazy
in my head, like
getting the beat. Okay.
Bobbing.
I get it.
Yeah,
okay. I'm feeling it. All right. Let's take a look at your skills and see if you don't have.
If I have dancing, I have no dancing. I look
you don't
like
have dance.
I
You didn't take dancing.
I look like a fucking nerd.
You didn't take dancing. Wait a minute.
Bro, I got Atlantean in my heart, baby. That's all I need.
All right, let's take a look.
Man dance where you bob your finger up and down like it's attached to your shoe, like there's a string attached.
No, I do the ripcord. I do the ripcord.
Now, see, you've got a physical prowess of 19, so you're very coordinated. I will say that.
You're
Let's
like
take a quick look.
Squall from Final Fantasy VIII. He doesn't know how to dance, but he watches people for a bit and kind of picks it up a bit.
Boxing.
I just do the the basics.
The basics, okay.
I just do the Macarena over and over again.
All right, so we're gonna give you a base 25%. 25% base skill roll. Go ahead and do a percentile roll, a D100. And for your, 25%, because of your physical prowess, we're going to add, let's say 15% to that. So you're going to get a 40% or under, means you don't look like a complete fucking moron as you step out onto the dance floor. Okay.
All right, I look like a dickhead.
So as you stand up,
Hey,
you get the idea that you're going to try and kind of do a smooth little slide onto the dance floor, and as you do it, you completely underestimate your footwear's traction on the surface of the cobblestones, and you almost go falling head over tea kettle forward towards her, but you catch yourself. You don't fall completely.
Can I do a
And
flip?
You can try. Now let's go ahead and roll.
Yes.
Let's
Okay.
do a roll.
Trying to play it off.
Why
all
don't you
smooth.
do let's see. You don't
acrobatic.
I was just in there. Do you have
I
acrobatics?
meant to do it.
Acrobatics.
I sure don't.
Okay. Okay. So
You know I don't.
see. We got
I'm just a
boxing.
regular old man, man.
You're just you know. All right, go ahead and do this one. We're going to do a combat roll. Go ahead and do a D20. You're going to get a +1 because of your prowess, and you need to get, I'm going to say, for a successful front flip, I'm going to say a 15 or above, since you do not have acrobatics. Oh, so close. So you start taking a few steps forward as you're trying to recover from the trip. You try and do like a Fred Astaire, like waving your arms all wild at the sides and up on one foot, kind of making it look like you tripped on purpose. And then you plant your foot and try and spring forward and make it turn into this impressive maneuver like it was all on purpose. As you plant your foot and kick off, you flip around and rotate about 3/4 of the way, and you actually land hard right on your ass. Like you literally land right on your ass, hard enough to where it kind of bumps you up just a little bit.
That dance move
Can
would be
I-
like
can I
moving
do
a spring
a-
forward, fall back.
Can I grab the floor and try to spin?
Now, okay, now that's too complicated because you don't have breakdancing, but I will say this.
You're right.
You could try and do what's called a break fall roll. I'll let you
Okay.
try and do one of those, and if you do that, you'll be able to use the momentum from bouncing off your ass so hard. See if you can get your feet under you and stand up, kind of recovering the situation a bit.
I hope so. Fuck my
All
life,
right,
dog.
so we're
Third
gonna
time's a charm,
do
baby.
we're gonna do a break fall. I think that's actually in your
I see it.
character sheet.
I see it.
Okay.
Hip up, let's go.
Fuck my life, dog.
10. You know, I'm gonna give it to you. This isn't
All right.
you're not falling from 50 feet up. This is
Not
just
super impressive, but
Yeah.
you know, it was enough that I don't
Right?
look like an idiot.
and you get a hand underneath you to help as well, and you're able to pop back up. Now, what really saved you in all this is because you're a mega damage being. It's like you do none of this. It's the ground gets more hurt than
It's
you
just
do, you
your
know what I mean?
pride that was
Yeah.
hurt more than your body.
Yeah. So,
Oh my god.
okay, so you bounce back
was
up,
rough,
and
man.
right after all of that, you stand up and you kind of do like a flourish, like it's part of like the finish of the move. And as you do, you kind of look up and you see that she's actually kind of suppressing a bit of a giggle.
Nice. I like it. All right.
And as she does that, you notice that the kind of energy around her and stuff kind of fades for a second. You're quite a bit closer to her, and as that energy and everything kind of dissipates and fades, and you're standing really, really close to her now, you notice that she actually is a stunningly beautiful woman. The outward appearance that you're experiencing of her, you're realizing right now that there's some kind of glamour over the outside of her, causing her to have that almost more, I don't want to say run down, but she looks regal when you're standing this close and the effect is dissipated. She looks very noble and almost like she's just exuding authority, okay? When you're further away and the effects of her glamour are intact, you get a working woman's kind of vibe. You get a person who is used to sweat and, being dirty and so forth. This individual up close, it strikes you just the authority and the power that she seems to radiate. And then just like that, the effect is gone once again as you kind of right yourself, and she seems to be able to kind of like reassert her control over that effect. She continues dancing though, and now that you're standing so much closer, you realize that she's going to have some fun with this, and she actually starts moving closer towards you while dancing and starting to engage you in dancing, and you realize the dancing is not over for you. That whole debacle, that was just the beginning.
I'm trying, man.
So as she starts shimmying towards you, what are you going to do, man? Are you going to start dancing with her? Are you going to stand? What do you want to do? Now you look over and you notice that the two factions are about one melee round from you, 15 seconds from your position, and they are still closing in.
Instead of me looking, can I like check with my peripheral? So I want to like
absolutely.
I want to simulate that I'm focused on her.
Okay, you're still watching exactly what's happening with them, but you're trying to focus on her. Are you trying to dance too? Okay, because we're doing two things now. We're doing two things.
I'm gonna splash it on her. She don't even know.
Oh.
All right. Yeah.
Oh boy.
What I do now?
What?
Oh wow. That's an Atlantean thing. It's
What?
Yeah. So you're gonna So you're gonna try and dance with her. With her. All right. With that, we're gonna jump on over to. We're gonna jump on over to Ren. Ren, you are standing there in the company of Geiger, who currently looks like a completely normal humanoid woman. Why is this not pulling up? Come on. All right. I'm not sure why that's not wanting to show, but we will
do a cheeky refresh. See if that fixes it.
Yeah, something's up. It's not wanting to pop any of these. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulty. Give me just a second.
We'll edit this out.
Yeah, it looks like the tabletop's having a problem. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try and refresh, and we're not using any tokens, so there shouldn't be any problem at all here. Okay, let's let this load up. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure why that's...
New update to the program.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they just did the... I wonder if maybe the UI thing is causing some issues there. Okay, let's see. Let's make sure that this is going to let us grab shit. This and... Okay. It's letting me pop it up for myself, but not for the rest of you guys. Interesting. I'm going to try and refresh one more time. Give me a second. You know what? And let's do this real quick. I'm going to hit the be right back. We're going to leave it on that just in case.
Yeah, we're going to cut this out because fuck that noise.
I know we're only like 7 minutes from Bear needing to do what he's going to do. So if for some reason we need some time, we can do this.
Oh, shit. Fluky showed up to the party.
Who showed up?
Fluky.
Who's Fluky? What?
Britain.
You mean in Opie's channel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
he jumped on right after you left. Britton, remember Britton? I was gonna play with us for a little bit. The guy
Yeah.
He's been popping around recently, but his schedule still like. I mean, he plays in 2 different bands, so he's always fucking randomly around.
Yeah, this is crazy. But it'll let me do the individual ones. Let's do this. Everybody, if you don't mind, just go ahead and log out of Roll20. I'm gonna go ahead and do this, or I'm not log out, but go ahead and close your Roll20. And
Closed. I'm out.
Okay. Dax, Bear, are you guys both out now?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, good shit. So I'm going to refresh my browser, open it back up. Maybe what we should do is have everybody go in and turn off that new UI deal. Pretty sure
I don't think I have it on.
Yeah, I know.
Mine didn't look different, but
Yeah.
maybe I had it on. I don't know.
Well, and I was switching back and forth, so it may have been that it got all fucking gummed up. Yeah, see, my music wasn't even playing before, and now it is. Give me just
It
a
was
second.
playing for me.
I have not heard music actually.
I've been hearing music.
Okay. Let me
Let you
just
mention
test
it.
this out. Okay, so I can pull it up individually. Okay, that looked like it popped. Dude, it's still, yeah. It's still like hit or miss. Let me try this. We're going to go back to the actual deal, games. Now that we're fully logged out, let's try and do this. This is good. We'll refresh. And I'm going to give it just a couple of minutes to make sure that it's whatever the fuck the problem is. It recognizes everybody's out and it's done. And then, all right. Why don't we definitely call that good? There's no reason to do a couple of minutes. We'll call that good for, Bear, you said you need roughly 10 minutes. Is that right?
15 minutes. Yeah, I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
We'll just go ahead and take our break now.
Perfect.
Cool. I have to pee actually.
All right, then as we go forward, everybody do your thing. And as we go forward in a bit here, I will relaunch and I'll just have somebody just give me confirmation it's working. So, all right, guys, be right back.
Cool. Can I get done in 10 minutes? Dude, it just rained for like maybe 10 minutes and it's still 87 degrees, so all to do is get humid as fuck outside. Awesome.
Okay, I am back. Let's see.
Welcome back.
Hey, thank you, thank you.
I went ahead and told my mom that I saw her dancing to impress a girl, and I fucked up, and now I'm about to get jumped. She looked at me all weird and shit. And I was like, "It's alright, mom. You know, I'm like 6'7", 250 years old," and she looked at me weird, like, the fuck? I was like, "No, I'm young for my age."
Does she know? Have you described this game to her at all?
Not necessarily describe the game, but she knows it's like a fictional.
Hey, Kilo, do me a
Thing.
favor and log out of Roll20 for me real quick.
I did.
It's what the fuck? Okay.
Let me double check. Let me. I logged out and then closed it, but let me. Hold on.
Maybe this thing is really having a problem.
I mean, I'm here in the game. You want me to get out?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's. I'm fucking dumb. Yeah. If you jump out, Dex.
I did.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Damn it, Kilo, stop impersonating me.
I get your guys' characters mixed up all the time for some reason. I don't know why.
I'm tired of you trying to be like me, dog.
Wanna be like Mike, If is your name Mike now? If
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could be like Mike.
My cock.
All right, so
My
everything.
tummy's like my cock.
I wonder if that's what I should have done. Is actually. Let's see. Okay, so the game should be closed. Let's go ahead and refresh. Yeah, it's really weird, guys. I don't know what specifically the problem is that I can click on the assets and show them on my screen, but it's not letting me hold shift and hit it. Use Z for it, and when you hold shift and hit Z, everybody should be able to see shit. So it makes it to where I'm not going to be able to show you guys the shit I need to show you. Let's see. Man, I love Roll20, but goddamn. I think you're right, Kilo. I think it's got to be this fucking update. It's always some kind of fucking thing.
That's how it goes.
This GM overlay. How else could we do this? I could do... Let me switch pages real quick. Let's go to our nanotech. I wonder if this is... Okay, let's try and do the redesign UI. Okay, so... Is that the bottom of that? That is the bottom. There should be something right under this. Okay, let's see. So select GM. I do not get it. That should have been to everyone.
All right, boys, the bear is returned.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Thank you,
back. Okay.
Technical difficulties on the game side of things.
This looks like it might be working. Let's see. The only problem is I can't change the opacity. But that doesn't really matter. Yeah, we should be fine with that. Okay, can I get... Actually, let's do this. Let me log out one more time. Now that it's working, let's see, exit game. And then set this. Okay. We're gonna launch game. Hey, welcome back, Bear.
Man, my
Okay,
voice
guys.
is so fucking loud on that. Oh, fuck.
On your recording?
Yeah. Like, you can
Okay.
definitely hear me over you guys.
Why didn't you check your sound?
I did now.
Okay, so it's still in this. Lighting effects. Okay, this is all good. So let's take a look and see. We want GM. Okay, can I get like Dex? Can you log in for me now?
I sure can. And can I get sound checks on everybody?
Yeah, check. Kilo, check.
1, 2.
Check.
1, 2. Bear
Check.
Everybody
1, 2.
check it. Chickity check. All right, we good.
Okay,
All right,
tell
let's see
me
what the fuck this says.
in a minute here. I'm gonna pop something up, and I just need to know if you see it.
Okay.
Okay, let's see.
Yep.
Excellent. Fuck. Okay, let's go. Everything is set. Okay, going.
Cool to get back, sign back in.
Yes, absolutely. And let's go. There we go.
I hear the music now.
Excellent.
Damn, bro, I sound amazing now. What the fuck? Let me bring that stuff a little bit up. Alright, you'll be good.
Bear, you got the music and everything working okay?
Let me check. I usually keep the music pretty low, but
Oh, I just mean just as a yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll check. No worries.
right on.
What is going on there? Oh, there we go.
Why don't we fall in love? Ugh.
Oh, I wanted to say something. You know, you remember when we the server smash when we did the boss and beat him
Yes.
for the horn? After we had done it, I was trying to help our friend Ogame do it, and the first time we did it, like we only had like we had like half a group maybe, and one of the people there was level 12, and we didn't even get close.
Ooh.
And I was like, this sucks. And then he's like, fuck. He's like, I gotta go soon, but I'll be back to do the next one. And when he got back, he was like, hey, apparently it doesn't matter what difficulty you set it on to beat the boss, so everyone's doing it on
World Tier 1.
World Tier 1. So we jumped to that. We beat him in like 4 minutes without like even,
Wow.
breaking a sweat. But hey, we beat it on World Tier 2, so good us.
Right.
Man, this game is not meant to be played on tier 1. That like part 3 right away I like jacking it up, to whatever, a couple settings up or whatever. But it was like you could really feel in Diablo 3 how much more difficult the beginning of the game was. Dude, in this one on veteran, it just feels like it's like normal. Like shit still dies almost instantly, and I don't know. I
I have a lot of give or take on that, Because
Yeah.
some of the beginning mobs, some of the other mobs, especially if you progress further, some of those mobs are, pretty easy. But like those champions and their fucking associates, they're fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
those in the fucking dungeons and shit. They're fucking jerks.
Strong, like I was telling you last night, Odin, about the stronghold ghouls. You can nuke a lot of the fucking ghouls. You run into a billion ghouls, out in the open world, and you smash them by the fucking wave, right? Well, the ghouls, at least for my build with the druid, could fucking out damage or out heal my damage I was putting out because of their fast attacks and the way they were doing that on fucking world tier 2 in that stronghold. That's partly the reason why I had to drop it down to fucking even have a chance of beating it. Is fucking
Now, see that kind of thing I get. I'm just saying, like, to run through the early game on the first setting,
yeah,
it'd just be
Completely
like
agreed.
fucking, I don't know.
completely agree.
Tutorial.
Yeah,
Actual
So,
tutorial, the whole game.
I do get it though, because like if you don't know what you're doing for a build, World Tier 2, if you have a bad build or just you don't have certain maybe aspects to a build that you're going for, World Tier 2 is tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to
If
gear up
you-
quick.
If
You really
if
do.
you know your build or just your certain builds are just stronger until some builds work really well once you have an aspect or two. Some
Right.
builds you don't need that and they're still pretty strong. My build until I was about level 40 was mopping shit up, and then when I hit 40 for some reason, a lot of it was my gear had no stats pluses
Right.
to it, and I had no aspects that were helping me, and I was killing things okay, but I was getting wrecked by hits. Like
Yeah.
I was just squishy and just getting destroyed. And then I found two aspects, and then since then, I have just been
So that's
plowing
what I
things.
probably need to do, because I barely fucked around with any of those aspects or anything
Guys,
like
that
that.
first one you get with the fucking barrier when an elite hits you, that is one of the best. I use that, and it helps a lot. I see
After
that
we're
thing
done-
pop up all the time. So
After we're done playing
Beagle's
this,
necklace.
after we're done playing this tonight, if you guys want to, I've got a lot of the map uncovered, and I've got tons of dungeons that have aspects. So if there's anything that you guys want, I can jump into your game and pull you to that dungeon. We can knock out that dungeon and get you that aspect, so you can start throwing those onto your yellow gear.
Cool.
Because
Cool.
I did that with Opie, his druid. He was like fine with it, but he wasn't doing great. And from the one demo, he really liked these two things, and we got those for him. The one where he his pummel turns into earth attack and leaves the
Yep.
shockwave down for 2 seconds, and then
Yep,
the next one,
I just
where
got that. Yep.
and then the next one, it travels forward in a conal thing and leaves a shockwave that does, if you put it on your weapon, it does like 200 times the damage of that initial pummel.
Yep.
So, and then he's got
Hell
another
yes.
one that if you have what's the defensive stat for not barrier, but it's
Hey,
The
Geiger.
Geiger. Yep. I saw Geiger. We're good.
yeah. Anyway,
Why
cool.
shouldn't I make it? No. Kilo.
She's
This-
always wearing
this-
a full trench.
That's your turn. You gotta get it.
there we go.
All right, I'm gonna dance.
Start dancing.
You probably do better than me. Fuck.
All right.
I blame it on,
Everybody
like,
said.
one of my legs falling off, or I just like pop
Bro,
one of my
the-
legs and be like, "Oh, it's not my fault. My leg fell off."
Just take one of your arms off and wave it on your hair. Wave it in the air like you just don't care.
Bro, I've just started watching Big Bang Theory, and I'm starting to get a kind of mental construct of the more fastidious natured individuals, and it keeps bringing me back to Ren. And I know that he's not in that kind of category, but it makes me keep thinking about, like, when I'm watching that, I'm kind of going, this is interesting because it is like, you could tell from the first episode that dude's got like clinical issues with the stuff, which your guy doesn't. But that kind of uncomfortableness, it's just it's been a good kind of thought experiment watching his character interact with shit and just kind of seeing it's been interesting. Let's see.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's trying to learn magic, but there's also all these people being like, join our club. I mean, he's already like joined a guild base or a mercenary troop, and then there's other people who are like, join our magic guild. And the one thing he doesn't like is joining things because he's from a clan of
Right.
family clan of Yakuza, which he hates. And that the one thing he hates is like, oh, fuck clans, fuck group, fuck organizations. And
Right.
then everyone's like, join us, and he's like, ah, god damn it.
He just keeps getting drug into it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So everybody good to go?
Yes, sir.
Believe so.
All right. And we have, what's that, Dex?
Nothing. Go ahead.
We have how long from now to finish this session? Is it another 2 hours?
7:30. Yeah. I mean, usually we ended at 7, but since we got such a late start, I could go to 7:30. I mean, I'm just saying.
Is that, and that's 2.5 hours from now, right?
Yeah, almost.
Okay, perfect.
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah, it's 4:51 mine and Kilo's time right now. If that's
Okay.
good for you, Kilo, like I said,
Yeah,
I was just saying 7:30 worked for me. I wasn't trying
Yeah.
to force it. If
No,
you're
that's all
good,
good.
okay.
No, that's all
All
good.
right, cool.
And Dex, that works for you?
Man, don't ask me, dog. Yeah, it's good.
Good shit, good shit. Okay, then we are gonna go live again in 3, 2. Okay, we are back. So to continue, Ren, the techno wizard of the group, was currently in the company of Geiger, who currently appears in this form. She is a very commanding kind of character presence. As she stands next to you, you notice that as you guys are walking down the street together, you notice that lots of people keep giving her side glances, either of admiration or attraction. Again, she doesn't seem overly intoxicated, even though she's ingested multiple different substances all within the last hour or two. You guys have just left the Mages Guild of the local area, where you had been given an offer to basically apply to join the guild. Bobble had been quite inviting, and the group itself, you definitely got a strong impression of really potent magic users and supernatural beings. Got good vibes as far as the overall strength and level of ability of the group, and they did definitely conduct themselves with professionalism. So after leaving that meeting and getting some quotes on some of the services that they offer and what the recruitment process would generally be, you had received word from one of your remote drones that you have recently constructed through your techno wizardry. It pinged back in its search pattern a interesting individual who appeared to be using magic openly while enjoying herself out in one of the kind of open market, the kind of square areas that they have, the kind of a open restaurant or cafe or bar kind of area. This area, according to the data from the drone, is probably 5 or 6 minutes walk from your current location, down a few different streets and alleys, but through the digital mapping that your drone has done, of this area so far. It's able to give you very clear directions. And it does appear that this individual is out in the open again, so it's not like, underground or anything like that. You were alerted to this individual's presence by the drone in its search for magic, or anything of interest in that vein. And as the drone approached, it had moved in and been beckoned by this individual who realized that she was being observed while she was using whatever that magical substance is. And she had beckoned the drone closer, and then basically, given a bit of an invitation to come and find her if you see something that interests you. And that's where we're picking up with Ren right now. This individual is still on the display and is basically communicating through your drone with you. She has just taken in a huge inhale of that magical substance, and as she did so, it made her internal kind of skeletal structure for just a moment get highlighted through her skin, almost like in a neon X-ray effect visually, but obviously achieved completely through magical means. Whatever that energy or substance she's ingesting is, it seems very potent, and you're unaware of any kind of drugs or chemicals that are able to affect that kind of metaphysical kind of transfer of power like that. Again, as you kind of peer at the little artifact that it seems to be coming from that she's holding, you're clueless on its real function or design, but you're fairly confident that it is techno-wizardry based, which is your forte. With that being said, Geiger is still just kind of walking forward slowly with you as you're communicating through your ARM display on your little ARM computer, and go ahead and take it away. What would you like to say? What would you like to do?
So, refresh me. This person is recorded on my device and knew I was recording on this device. My drone is back at me. Do I have an idea where this person is?
Your drone's not back at you. The drone is actually...
It's just through... It's through my... Okay.
Yep, it's a live signal.
And it's still with this person.
Yep, it's right in front of her. She's like beckoned it over to her little table she's sitting at in this open air cafe.
And this display is on my little wrist computer type thing?
Correct.
I'm gonna tap Geiger on the shoulder and hold up my wrist to show her what I am seeing.
Okay, as you hold it up to her, she looks over, and to be honest, she just kind of arches one eyebrow lazily just a bit in a kind of outward show of just sort of disinterest. And as she looks for just a second, she quickly shrugs her shoulders and says, "Don't know her." And she just starts kind of looking around in the crowd as you guys continue to slowly walk forward.
What's the with the inhalation of the arcane substance? Does that seem regular to you?
She looks back and kind of looks a little more closely as this individual, while she's waiting, takes another seeming hit of this artifact. And as she does so, Geiger seems to observe it closely, leaning way into the image. And then afterwards, she just kind of stands back up straight and puts her arm through the hoop of your elbow and just kind of is leaning kind of shoulder to shoulder on you. And she just kind of shrugs and shakes her head a couple of times in the negative, basically saying no idea. Now, you do notice that she has been getting more and more, like, you wouldn't call it affectionate, but she's been more and more comfortable around you and more, like physically demonstrative of that. And
Slightly
again,
drop their guard a bit, loosen it up slightly.
exactly. And again, you are getting pretty much that feeling of almost like just friendship, brotherhood, or just trust. You know what I mean? She doesn't seem to be like hitting on you or anything like that. It's like
Just
somebody
more
who's
comfortable
been
around
under a lot of stress. Exactly. Somebody who's been under a lot of stress, being around somebody that puts them at ease and almost reverting to that kind of younger mindset where people are less kind of physically on guard.
Friend zone. No,
Okay, so as you proceed, what would you like to do?
I'll just kind of maybe it's just me being paranoid like normal, but it just feels weird that there's things flying all around this place, and why would someone show interest in mine? I mean, fairies were serving us alcohol and drugs earlier. Like I don't this isn't weird to you at all. Just give me a quick slap if I'm being ridiculous.
She just kind of shrugs and she says, "Give it 10 minutes and something much stranger will happen." She looks over at the image on your arm and she kind of makes a kind of elaborate shooing away motion and goes, simply recall your drone and be done with her. I doubt she has anything of import to offer. And then she just kind of, turns her attention to the crowd and her surroundings once again.
Can I get a sense of where my drone is? Do I know where my drone is right now as far as like where it traveled? Like from where I'm at?
Yeah, from your current location, you'd guess from the kind of rudimentary telemetry that it's showing, the kind of crude mapping system, it'd probably take you about 5 minutes of walking to get to this person's location.
I'm gonna call my drone back to me, but also start walking towards that direction as it's coming back. I'm gonna try to do basically get my drone back, but then walk past that area and try to just get a incognito peek.
Okay. As you kind of change directions to start heading that way, she doesn't resist, but she kind of notices the shift at the next intersection and kind of just lazily just kind of queries, change of plans.
Indulge me for a moment. My paranoia is getting the best of me, but I just kind of wanted to check something out real quick, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, she just nods her head, very relaxed and goes, "Sure." You recall your drone, and as you do so, you see the individual in the monitor actually make a kind of playful, almost like, toodaloo kind of gesture with her fingers, as the drone starts backing up and raising in elevation once again. And you see that she seems to blow out like a simple kiss, but as she does the motion with her features, there's almost like this blue ghostly image, this kind of like hologram of her that kind of flows out like a single pulse of a heartbeat, and it expands away from her head in this strange kind of optical illusion effect. As that happens, you see a slight distortion and kind of like static go across your data feed for just a split second. And then everything is back online just fine, no problem. And the drone is very quickly starting to retreat back to your position now.
I'm gonna pretend to be cool, but I'm kind of mini freaking out because I'm just a fucking paranoid, skittish person, and I don't like that little glitch. I'm just like,
Okay, well, why don't you roll a perception check?
Okay.
Since you're so focused on it, let's see if you notice anything.
Oh, yeah, I had it active earlier, but I got rid of that. There we go. What? It was. I think it was teetering on a 6 or a 9, and I got a 6. Bullshit.
Okay, so you definitely are concerned that she was indeed trying to have some kind of influence over your tech. It all played out a little too coincidentally, and you definitely feel like you want to have a good look at your drone. But that's all you really glean. Which isn't really anything other than what you already knew. Okay.
We'll plan on giving it a scan at some point later to make sure that there's nothing.
Okay. You make a mental note of that.
Physically, but just like, yeah, if there's something that she kind of a little pulse that might have frazzled it a bit.
All right. Now, as it heads back, the intervening space between you closes, and very quickly you cover the distance and reach your drone. It'd be another 2.5 minute walk, backtracking its trail if you want to get to her. Do you want to go ahead and take that leg of it now?
Yeah.
Okay. You go ahead and walk that back, and as
I'll ask also, like, if there's anything in this where we're going, if she knows the area well enough, is there anything that will make it look like we're there purposefully, like looking for a shop or a or anything, just to make it look less conspicuous, you know?
She says actually,
around shops or anything, or
so she kind of perks her head up and finally is paying really close attention to your surroundings now. She looks around a couple of times left and right, and then her eyes kind of brighten up and she goes, we're next to the Bennington. And her smile goes from kind of timid at first to incredibly anticipatory. She looks almost like a child who just realized they're 5 minutes drive from their favorite amusement park, and that there's nowhere else they could be going.
I'll say that out loud. Oh shit. in a fun, playful manner, not like a fuck me, but more like to her. Ah shit.
And she, as you do this, she goes, "Oh, you don't even know." She goes, "Come on," and she starts yanking you forward. She says it's right up this way, and you realize the two locations are going to coincide fairly nicely. Now, you do realize that this environment, this is something that all of you guys have noticed. Again, this environment, it seems nighttime regardless of what the last section of the aristocrat you were in was. And it very much feels like this is a whole different place, not just a different section of a larger place. Does that make sense? So you're wondering now if maybe this place is just always night, because the depth of night that it is does not correspond to when you left the last section. It was still very bright outside. So I just want to emphasize this whole place, this section is like kind of like a nightlife kind of city, and it's dawning on all of you guys, it might just be like this like all the time here, and it's just what you know, the function that it fills. As you round the corner up ahead of you, you see the facility that she was referring to with such eagerness. And it does not seem like a place you would feel very comfortable frequenting. And right away you start getting a sense of being very uncomfortable with what might happen inside of
I mean, that's most things, but okay.
inside of this building. So as you gaze up ahead and see this place, right away you start wondering how many diseases a person could catch just by trying to open the door with a bare hand. You hear raucous...
With a bare hand, I'm gonna see if Trinket can help him.
You hear a raucous cacophony of noise coming from inside, including several different musical numbers going at the same time. You can hear obvious bar fighting, brawling, and arguing, along with death threats. And after a few seconds, as you draw just a bit closer to the intersection this shares with your actual destination, you could swear that you hear a couple of loud, maybe 9mm handgun reports echo out from somewhere around the back of the building, with an accompanying scream or two, all being half drowned out by the din of noise coming from the building itself. Right away, Geiger starts clapping her hands excitedly once again, and starts kind of charging forward at a relatively brisk pace right towards the place that it actually doesn't say Four Roses, it says the Bennington, but in the same style of neon right above the building.
I'll say to Geiger before she runs off, I'll be like, oh, in the short time I've known you, you've taken me to such lovely places. Met in a bathroom, then a drug den, and now whatever the fuck this is.
All right. She just looks back and smiles and nods, kind of not even paying attention to what you're saying, like, come on, let's go, and just starts walking forward again. Okay, at this point, and again, you're standing basically at an intersection where this building is across the street from you, across the intersection, and if you were to head left, that's going to be another maybe, minute and a half or so, minute walk in that direction to basically reach wherever this open-air cafe was with the individual with the artifact, okay?
Okay.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and transition over to you, Bear. You are standing... You're probably, I want to say you were about 100 feet from the main area where Akama is engaged in his
It
gyrations.
was just up the street down a little alleyway, like a little side alley that was up the street.
Correct. And as you made your way over there, you just had a rather strange encounter with these individuals. The most diminutive of the group has just addressed you formally after literally crawling inside of your mouth and using some kind of mystical razor blade to slice two openings in the back of your throat that it seems to have changed quite a bit in the function of your vocal ability in the interim, and it's only been a few moments. So that was an interesting little scenario that played out. He seems to have quite a familiarity with you in particular, and he has just revealed that they are associates in some way of what he called Blood's Carnival. And after their little magical performance of music and acrobatics, and Ymir seeming to be relatively at ease, as well as Wotek seeming to give them his actual kind of nod of approval. He actually seemed to really enjoy their company and their performance quite a bit. You decided to trust them, and here we are. Again, after this happened, you had made a couple of coughs to kind of clear your throat and excise some of that foul fluid and infectious kind of material that had come spurting out. And as you did so, your kind of grumbling, coughing vocalizations had actually caused some kind of resonance where little pieces of your gear and even surrounding stones, small chips of stone on the floor upon which you walk, had all started vibrating and shaking just very slightly. and it was a very strange effect that you were unaccustomed to. At this point, we're going to pick up where he has just announced that they're associates of Blood's Carnival, and he stands there before you, smiling relatively proudly, seeming apparently to think that this is going to mean something to you. He did mention that Blood's Carnival has been cooperating with your people, the Vana, for quite some time. But he has not elaborated on that at all. So, with that, as you've now cleared your throat and relatively are starting to be able to speak normally again, we'll hand it over to you. What would you like to do?
First and foremost, can you pull up their picture for me? I'm still looking at the four roses. If you meant to pull up their picture for me, I'm not seeing that.
Okay. It had pulled it up on my end, but
Okay, there we go.
okay.
Can you remind me of the little one's name again? I know he formally introduced himself. I can't recall his name.
He hasn't introduced himself yet. He hasn't actually said his name.
Okay. I thought he had. My bad. So Ymir, after receiving this surgery or this impromptu, he looks around and he kind of grabs his throat where the two slices would be with his giant hand, and he rubs his where the incisions would be, and he looks around and he's stunned because this sort of vocalization, this sort of harmonic magic with the Vana's voices it's usually only reserved for some of the highest practitioners of the harmonic magic that the people that his people have perfected. And what that ability is called is the general's voice or the war chief's voice, and most of the time it was reserved for either leaders or like I said, great high priests that are leading nature magic ceremonies, or great generals on the battlefield to command their troops, because obviously you have to have a very booming voice to stick out amongst the giants when armies are moving, especially in the heat of conflict. So this sort of harmonic ability is very foreign to him, because he knew he was strong, and obviously he had some of his ancestors' genes in him, but he never expected himself to have the general's voice or the war chief's voice. This makes him boom with pride on the inside, but he's also mighty embarrassed about hacking up this yellow fluid all over the young master that was just performing for him. So he kind of sheepishly, as the younger or the smaller goblin is sort of wiping himself, because I remember you said he pulled out sort of a handkerchief and he was cleaning himself off.
Yes.
So as he's doing that, Ymir kind of gathers himself, but he looks at him almost sheepishly, like, I'm sorry, like, I apologize. He's embarrassed by it. But then he looks back and he kind of gathers himself, and then he nods very slowly at him, and he looks at Wotek and he nods to him and he goes, "Excellent performance, young masters."
Okay.
You have
At this, Wotek, right away as you start saying this, he starts basically letting out low, kind of growling, like low rumble roars in agreement, and is actually kind of bobbing his head up and down.
Okay. You say low rumble roars, and I'm thinking we're going left here already. So good. I'm glad you said.
No. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so Ymir collects himself, he bows deeply, and he actually starts clapping. What he wanted to do at the very end of their actual performance
this wave of kind of admiration, even though he hasn't really thought about it yet, but he was very entranced by their performance because it reminded him of so much of a lot of the harmonic magic, and even the scars on the taller goblins' arms remind him of his own personal woad tattoos. He looks at his arms and he can see that the runic scars of the goblin are very similar in design to his own. So he trusts them because of the scenario that, well, he's very cordial and respectful and honest towards them in his true feelings because he feels a kinship with these two. Obviously, they're reaching out from the shadows because they have to, but whatever they did, he definitely feels like like his transformation, honoring his ancestors, has stepped up a level, given this seemingly random event. But so he claps with his massive mitts together and he goes, "Excellent performance, young masters. I know not what you did, but I thank you. Obviously, there were some malady within me that you relieved. You have my gratitude and my thanks."
Okay. As you say this, you see that they're listening intently, and they're both actually standing rather relaxed and at ease. And right away, as you finish saying this, the cat begins to hiss wildly. And as it does so, you see that Wotek actually bears down lower to the ground and begins rumbling out a slow kind of grumble, and is peering off past your new acquaintances into the kind of depths of darkness in the rear of the alleyway. And as both of these events start happening, you hear a kind of creepy, low, almost hollow kind of laugh coming from somewhere off in the darkness. And as it does so, you see a figure slip out from what appears to be some kind of solid, liquidy kind of shadow, where it's not like a person stepping from shadow into light. It's almost like there's just a solid block of shadow occupying, out past where your vision is able to pierce in this darkness. And even with your enhanced sight, you're not able to see what should be clearly within your visual range in this area. You'd say that this is probably about 50 feet away, and it kind of is sort of around a corner where the light fades the most. That whole dark area, it seems to leak out several feet and have a form of its own. And as it does so, even though it's silhouetted against what you can see behind it, it's still completely dark in your perception. Now, as this form does this and you hear the laughter kind of approaching a little bit closer, as this form draws closer, you hear a voice eerily creep out from the recesses of the alley and say, with a slight lilt,
"Oh, me boys, what is this? What have I found? Treasures indeed. Come, let us palaver."
Now, as you hear this, the darkness slowly recedes from around the form of what appears to be some kind of humanoid that is followed closely behind by some kind of phantasmal and ethereal demonic force. Okay. Now, as he comes into view, you can see that all around you, behind you, back where the square is, and even far off ahead, further down the alley, everything seems to dim. Light itself seems to be kind of snuffed out to about a quarter of its usual luminosity. And in this kind of dark din, the voice echoes forward and seems to seep like right into your soul. You wonder if there's a telepathic component to this as well, and it makes you wonder if perhaps the effect you're seeing visually may be something to do with a mental ability as well. It seems unlikely that an individual would have that much control of this area through just, magical abilities or what have you. So that is one thing that you pick up slightly. Now, as this individual is looking forward at you, it does indeed hold what looks to be a doll in its hands, along with a long, about a 5-inch nail. Several of these nails appear driven into the doll, and as you look a little more closely, you notice that the doll actually seems rather generic. It doesn't really seem supposed to look like, it doesn't seem like standard thaumaturgy that you've seen where it is supposed to look like an individual. And that is something that just kind of catches your eye a little bit. You notice that whatever the creatures are, the larvae, worms, whatever, at his belt, whatever those are, they are definitely still alive. You can see quite a bit of movement in the jar, and you do notice red smoke and a kind of energy kind of signature coming from the strange head that appears to be opposite the jar. The vials on his bandolier are glowing fairly brightly green, and it's a strange contrast against the darkness that this individual seems to spread. You notice that the kind of phantasmal creature that stands directly behind it, you can't really tell if it's standing there or if it's manifesting directly up from this individual. But whatever the case may be, it dwarfs him in size, and it easily looks like it could tear through, a small company of well-armed standard soldiers without breaking a sweat. It moves in a very unnerving way. It almost looks like it's moving through water at a great depth, so all of its movements seem as though they're pushing against some kind of resistance in the environment, but it does seem strong enough to, when it wishes to, kind of overcome this effect and seem to move almost at normal speed. But every once in a while you'll notice that it goes to turn its head slightly to the side, and it's almost like it's doing so in slow motion. And even the energy signature coming from the eyes appears to slow way down and be kind of disjoined from time itself in some fundamental way. Now, after making this kind of proclamation, you look forward at the figure and turn your head back to the side just slightly to look at the performers that are standing in front of you, and you notice that they all seem to be walking off to the side towards what looks like a bend in the alley just a few feet away off to your right. They seem to be moving very quickly, and you're actually surprised at how far they've moved before you even noticed, because they're kind of in front of you. Like, they're still easily within your peripheral vision, but by the time you register they're moving, they've already, made a beeline somehow by about 10 feet. As your eyes track and you actually kind of get a beat on them, you notice that the smallest is looking at you with a kind of just relaxed, non-concerned look on his face. And he just gives you a slight nod as he continues moving off towards this bend in the alley off to the right that seems to just lead off into darkness. At this, what would you like to do?
So, how far is the Scottish voodoo doctor in front of me? How far is he in front of me?
You would say at this point he's about, you'd say about 40 feet, where he came out of the darkness from the side there.
And so I noticed the little ones kind of rounding a corner or scurrying off, but they don't have any signs of concern or like they're trying, let's get the fuck out of here. Or
Yeah, you're
any of
getting
those.
100% we're out kind of vibes. Not even wanting to make like a final statement. They seem like they're heading somewhere and have a very, they're trying to move at kind of whatever almost enhanced speed they're capable of. Does that make sense?
I'm just trying to ascertain whether I get the vibe, whether Ymir gets the vibe that he should retreat and not engage with this individual, like follow their cue, or because you said he kind of looked at me nonchalantly, so if it could be their boss for all Ymir knows.
That's
he
true.
could just be like, well, that's what I'm at. That's what I'm trying to ascertain.
You do not get the feeling that it's an associate or anything like that. You're getting the feeling that this is like groundhogs hearing a coyote start sniffing around. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. All right. How is Wotek reacting through all this?
Growling.
And
He's growling lowly, and he's already kind of down in a hunched posture, like ready for action. Basically, he's, and as the seconds tick by, he looks like he's getting more and more prepared.
So if he's getting anxious, Ymir's automatically going to be on guard while staring back at whatever the fuck just appeared in front of him. He obviously, the vibes were enough to have the little ones start scurrying off. Wotek is like this, and Ymir really just wants to get the fuck out of there and rejoin Akaba, because he just wanted to meet those goblins down the way, and now that they're gone, he's gonna try to make haste. He never loses eyesight. He keeps locking eyes with the being, but Ymir just prepares himself for whatever comes next, but he just slowly starts backing away out of the alley towards the main street with Wotek, and just wait to see what happens.
Okay. I need you to go into your character sheet.
Okay.
And we need actually, let me check something really quick because I'm not sure if I want to. Let me see. Okay, go ahead and give me a save versus psionics in your profile.
Psionics. Oh, that's okay. It's poison, but it's probably psionics versus what? It says versus 15 right now. Is that the one you want me to roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, so you're saying you want to back up but still be facing him, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Steely-eyed gaze, not showing any fear, but slowly backing away because he obviously picks up on the vibe of whatever this creature is, and he doesn't fucking like the magical energies around him. He doesn't fuck with anything like this. So.
Okay, as you start backing away, Wotek, almost surprisingly, is 100% on board. He very quickly starts creeping his huge ass backwards in the air while kind of like hunched down and ready to spring, but is clearly trying to kind of back away at a commensurate pace that you are. How quickly do you want to be moving backwards? You'd say that you're into the alley about, let's say, about 25 feet. And if you get that far, you're basically going to be back out into the square, essentially.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back out into the street to rejoin the main street. So, backing out, that's difficult. I can't give you like a miles per hour, but he's backing out slowly but still battle ready, if that makes sense. It's
Okay.
like a shield. It's like a shield wall stepping back. They're not really retreating, more it's a defensive step back. Longer strides because he's trying to get to the main street. So he's definitely ready to go if something pops off, but they're both slowly backing away. Do you understand what I'm...
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so as you start moving backwards at a basically like a combat retreat kind of pace where you're not really shuffling, but you're almost kind of sidestepping because you're moving quickly enough while keeping faced. So as you're doing that, Wotek is keeping up with you easily at that pace, and you feel almost like a massive metal bell gets rung right in the center of your mind, right in the center of your being. And as this bell kind of rings in its low concussive tone, that vibration is what you're really picking up on and sensing. And you can feel that some kind of force just slammed into your psychic essence, trying to affect you in a very powerful way. And you can tell that you were able to resist it, but as you look around, you notice that your perception of the alley that you're in has become kind of blurred and is starting to kind of almost like jitter and sputter as you move your head. Almost like when one is intoxicated. Something relative to that, but on a very low scale. Like you're just starting to feel it, right? But even through you resisting whatever came at you, it still has had some kind of effect where you're realizing, like, this alarms you. This is definitely not good, okay?
Yeah.
So as this happens, this kind of wave of alert runs through you, and you feel, your muscles begin to get enhanced by a steady flow of adrenaline now that you really are getting that fight or flight kicking in. And
hold on 1 second, Odin.
Sure. All right.
If only there was a pause button for OBS. That'd be sweet. Who do the voodoo? He do? Do.
I'm going to kick on that Be Right Back just so I have a visual cue. What do we got here? Yeah, it's weird. Roll20 is working really well now. Every time I try and do something, boom, boom, boom. Let's see.
Odin, I've got an emergency right now. Sorry, guys. I've got to handle this.
No worries, man.
Of course.
No worries at all.
No problem, man.
We'll get it all straightened up later. All right, guys. You want to go ahead and keep going? We can work on your guys' stuff.
Yeah,
Or would you rather just wrap?
I mean, if we think it would be, if I'm fine with doing a little bit more just to tie it up, make a nice little thing, and then we can get back to it when he's done. But if we want to call it a wrap, that's fine too. Whatever.
It's just
It's been a bit bumpy today. I'm fine with wrapping it too, though.
yeah. I want to say it's gonna be hard as not hard, but the idea, the perspective of the situation that at least me and Ymir's in it's a bit tricky.
Yeah, you guys are
'cause,
standing right next to each other.
Oh yeah,
Like-
and also for editing reasons too, you might have to just have him stop and then jump into another person, and you have to mix.
And I'm also
You know, there is
possibly gonna get
Diablo
jumped.
4. There is Diablo 4 to
there
get to
is
as
Diablo
well.
4.
Yo, all right.
I
get you.
It works for me because I can cook. So I can eat dinner too.
Yeah,
Right
I
on.
could cook too.
Right on. Hey, yeah, no worries at all. At least we got a little chunk done on each one of your guys' deals.
No, I mean it's a little bit of a spark for something. You know, I'm mid doing the stanky leg and
Yeah.
about to get pummeled by this fuck.
Right on, man. Right on. All right. Yeah, we will call it there then. And if everyone's good, we'll just hit it up next week.
All right.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the recording. And now, bow your head for the patrons. BKZJT, Rapid 3642. Andy Sasa, Nova Rose, Kelly T, Tommy Gunn. The Z24 Colts, Jess H. It's. If you would like a special thank you at the end of each of my videos, and some other cool stuff as well, visit patreon.com/homegrown lore. Thank you.